There was a billboard where the train station is. When it had been elevated, the trains were elevated in 1908, around there. And they had a great billboard. It said, "Hub of the Jewelry World. Come to Attleboro, bring your business. We have X number of people, and we produce X number, numbers of products and things like that. Great place to live." I think it was the hub because they had craftsmen, they had water, and they had space. So it became a place to, gravitate to. A lot of immigrants, people came and had learned one of the first jewelry manufacturers was known as the Frenchman. From what I gathered and from what our founders did the research, he was a mercenary, but he had learned the art of metal making metal buttons, stamping them with a metal back and a shank in the back that could be attached to clothing. And he shared that. That was in the 1780s. He shared it with his apprentice, and they went all over to continue that. Eventually ended up being bought out by a company that was in Waterbury, Connecticut, who claims to be the first button maker in America. I think, if we were going to get into a proprietary thing, maybe he'd get some argument from people here in Attleboro.
Better than the first word you were thinking.
Yeah. We would. My mother-in-law would use that word, but I wouldn't.
Behind us is a mannequin playing the role of Lloyd G. Balfour,
Right.
The Balfour Company. They were probably the biggest jewelry company established in Attleboro.
Yeah.
There were a lot of small ones. Texas Instruments by far was the biggest employer, but they weren't jewelry. Jostens came in much later. Industrial Park off of County Street.
But they were. We just had Mark Forbes here the other day doing a little speaking about his life here in Attleboro and how successful he'd become. And he said the big three were Balfour, Jostens, and Deegis and Clust, which is a company still exists, I think, in Rhode Island. And they came here, I think, because Balfour came in 1913 and built up a huge company. He only started with 8 people, I think. In the old, if you're familiar with Attleboro, where Lamco is, that building there was a jewelry manufacturing building, but the owner rented out space. He had a small, loft space that he started his business in.